Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature video number 110, the Roman Index of Forbidden Books. It's an explanatory tract. It's very pro-Catholic and pro-book forbidding in its manufacture from the early 20th century. So keep that in mind if you're reading this. This is not a text critical of the papacy or critical of the Catholic practice of forbidding books for a theological reason. Link in the description, as always, to my edition of this work on Amazon. Second link to my books blog. This work is 55 pages, so it's longer than Counterblast, let's just put it that way. It actually contains a segment of the index for its era of manufacture, which is probably the most interesting part of the work. You can go through, you can see what was banned at the time, you can see sort of the reasoning behind it. Most of the works are philosophical in nature. Honestly, they have nothing to do with like, oh, praise Satan, or, you know, haha, the Catholic Church is wrong. Basically, anything philosophical or scientific that denoted a disagreement with the authority of the Catholic Church was put on the list. Now, unless it was very, very brief amounts of material in an otherwise, like a pro-Catholic work or something like that. Now, this work, this booklet goes through the process, actually. It does more than just list some of the works and say some theological tidbits. It actually takes you through the process that's used by the councils that they formed at the time to determine what would and would not go on the index, as well as the theological implications in their belief, in their mind, of course, about what would happen if you did not actually accept that. For instance, it's actually considered highly credible. It's considered a very good thing. Even if you write something that ends up forbidden, that's like not a problem apparently to the Catholic Church, so long as you publicly come out and accept the result and say, oh yeah, I'll change it or I'll stop printing it or whatever. You actually get like major, you know, God points for that apparently, which I find very interesting. But if you go through the index, you'll find like Darwin and some of these others, you know, listed here. And a lot of them are like early scientific minds, you know, or sort of revolutionary era philosophical minds. There's very little sort of demoniac style material there. You know, you'd think of what kind of works would the Catholic Church forbid? And you would think, oh, well, you know, probably works that are predominantly spiritual in nature. And it's actually not. They were fighting at the time, they were fighting science more than they were other versions of spirituality, to the point at which they pointed, oh yeah, the Protestants have like similar practices of censoring or forbidding works too, and that's just fine. And we're okay with that. Like, they're heretics and they've fallen away from the true faith, but, you know, it's still good because they're kind of still Christians and, you know, so forth. But it's an in-depth work. It also contains the various categories that could be put on a literary piece by these councils and so forth. And generally, it's rather interesting to read, especially for those who are bibliophiles. A book that's sort of about books is like a treasured thing of sorts. So again, link in the description to my edition of this work on Amazon, second link to my books blog. This will go under the academic header. I haven't actually added it to it yet. I did the entry on the blog itself for the work, but I haven't edited the actual category yet. That's about all. Peace out.